All right, in this video, we're going to be covering actually solving equations that have trig functions in them. Sort of like solving linear equations or quadratic equations, except it has trig functions in them. It's not as bad as it sounds. Now, I know in our last 2 videos ago, I introduced my cat. You remember her name. And then I introduced my dog in the next one. On this video, I do have somebody else I want to introduce. I'm going to introduce my toothbrush. This is Oral-B by Braun. Had it for about a year now. It's been pretty dependable. This is my toothbrush. All right, on to trigonometric equations. I know your teacher's weird. All right, let's see. Make sure you have your notes. And here we go. Okay. So the first one, this is kind of like a linear equation. It's just like solving 2x plus 3 equals 4. If you can solve 2x plus 3 equals 4, you can solve this. When 2x plus 3 plus equals 4, what would you do first? Well, you would subtract 3, and then you would divide by 2. You're going to do the same thing here. First, we're going to subtract 3. We've got 2 sine x equals 1. Then we divide both sides by 2. And then we're going to say, where is sine equal to 1/2? Well, let's see where sine is equal to 1/2. Now, if you look up here, the directions say 0 to 2 pi. Find all answers from 0 to 2 pi. So that means they want all answers. Usually means there's 2 answers. And it's in radians. Okay, so let's get out our unit circle here. Let's see if we can figure out where sine is equal to 1/2. Now, remember, sine is the second value. One of the answers is here at pi over 6. So we're going to pick pi over 6 as one of our answers. And where is the y value equal to 1/2? Again, if we go around here, there's the other one. So we've got one here and one here. You knew the other answer was going to be over here because sine is positive in quadrant 2. We've got pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. So my two answers are pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. All right. Now the second one, this is also a linear equation. And it's just like solving 2x plus 1 equals x plus 3. What would you do first on this one? Well, the first thing you would do is you would subtract x from both sides to get your x's on the same side of the equation. So that's the first thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to subtract secant x from both sides and get my secants on one side of the equation. Well, what is 2 secant x minus 1 secant x? Well, that's 1 secant x. You don't need to write the 1, because these two cancel. Now subtract 1, and we've got secant of x is equal to 2. Now you probably don't like secant, right? So we can change that to cosine if we take the reciprocal of the ratio. This is the ratio. This is not an inverse trig function. This is a regular trig function. So that's the ratio right there. So if we change this to cosine, I'm going to change this to positive 1/2. Now we need to go around the unit circle and find out everywhere cosine is equal to 1/2. Well, let's do that. Now cosine is the first number. And where is the first number? There's 1. The other one's going to be in quadrant 4. I know yesterday I said to go back this way, but we want our answers to be positive angles because the directions say the angles have to be positive. So there's 1/2, and let's go around till we see 1/2 as our first number again. There it is right here. So our answers are going to be pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. So let's write those down. Pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. If you can't read that, that's 5 pi over 3. All right, I don't know why I labeled that number 2. This is actually number 3. Number 3. Now this is a quadratic equation, but it's already in factored form. You want this to be in factored form, so don't FOIL that. You want factored form. Don't FOIL it. This is the form that we want. When you solve an equation by factoring, you're going to factor, then separate, then solve. That's back from Algebra 2. You're going to factor it. This is already factored. Then you're going to separate it. When you separate it, you're going to set each one equal to 0. This needs to be 0 on this side, but it is. And root of 3 cotangent x plus 1 equals 0. All right, now you're going to solve each of these. You separate it and you solve each one. So this one, move the 1 to the other side. This one, you're going to move the 1 to the other side, and then you're going to divide. Move the 1 to the other side, and then you're going to divide. Now, you probably don't like cotangent. So we're going to change these to tangent. So this is tangent x equals 1. Flip it over. When you flip one over, it's still 1. And this one, tangent x equals, when you flip this over, that's going to be negative square root of 3. Now we're ready to find our answers on the unit circle. All right. This one's going to have 2 answers. This one's going to have 2 answers. All right. So let's look at our unit circle. Where's tangent equal to 1? Tangent is equal to 1 when the sine and the cosine, or the y and the x, are the same number and same sign. So here, tangent is equal to 1 here at pi over 4. If you look over here, 3 pi over 4 is not going to work because that's a negative over a positive. That would be negative 1. If you look in tangent 3, here, both the x and the y are the same value, and they're the same sign. So we're also going to want that as our answer. So our 2 answers are going to be pi over 4 and 3 pi over 4. But we've also got to solve this one. Where's tangent equal to negative square root of 3? All right. We don't want anything in this quadrant because tangent is positive in this quadrant. We're going to want answers in this quadrant and this quadrant. Now you got to think when you put the y value over the x value, will you get square root of 3? That's going to happen here. Tangent here is equal to root 3 over 2 over negative 1/2. That's negative square root of 3. So one of our answers is going to be 2 pi over 3. The other answer is going to be here. Because if you put negative root 3 over 2 over 1/2, that is also going to be tangent of x equals negative root 3. So my 2 answers are going to be 2 pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. So x equals 2 pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. All right, we'll come back, and then this video is getting a little bit long, so we're going to come back in the next video and solve number 4.